What's up guys, Jefferson here with Sumigang Production, and in this video I'm going to show you guys how to assemble your Apex Vortex 60-inch desk. If you have any other questions, be sure to leave them in the comment box below. I'm more than willing to answer any questions you guys may have. Other than that, this is just the installation video. So with that said, let's get to it. I already laid out everything on the ground, as you guys could tell. And the parts that we're going to start off with are the legs. So you want to grab the base right here and one of the hydraulic leg. So the way we're going to start off is mount this in first. Be sure when you mount this in, you want to make sure the leg is either pointing to the left or to the right and it's flush with the actual leg. If you don't do that, you will have to reassemble it later on, so be sure to make sure you do this in the beginning. Insert your screws in and just tighten it up. So we finished assembling this leg. You want to do the same exact thing on the other side. Okay, so we just finished assembling both of the legs. Next, we're going to mount the actual control box onto this. You want to be very careful installing the actual control box onto this, because if you forcefully or accidentally overturn it, you will mess up your unit. So be very careful and cautious of that. Also, at the bottom of the legs, you have an opportunity to adjust the actual height of this. If for whatever reason you need to adjust it later on, do take that into consideration. If for whatever reason one part of the desk is a little unleveled, you can twist these two parts, this plastic knob right here, and you could manually adjust accordingly to get that perfect level on your desk. So with that said, let's just align this one now. I also want to point this out. You want to be very careful because on the actual control box itself, it's labeled L and R, which stands for left and right. And at the bottom of this, it's also labeled L and R. So you want to make sure you match that properly for obvious reasons. If you don't do that, then you will mess up your actual stand-up desk. So with that said, match up with R and R and L and L. Okay, so I successfully laid it in to its own socket. I want to point out, if you're having a hard time inserting the actual leg into the actual control bar, you want to twist the leg slowly until it kind of finds its hole and position and goes in. You want to apply a little bit of pressure to have it go in, but not too much where it forces it to go down. So we just finished. You want to grab 4 screws on each side and you want to screw it down. Again, make sure your R is with your R on the leg and the L is with the L on the other leg. Let's insert the screws in and we're just about done. I like to just make sure I tighten it just a little bit more. Don't over tighten, but I like to go over it one more time just to make sure everything is snug. Okay, so we're just about done. Now we're just going to insert this on to the side. So this is actually the one that holds the desk and gets mounted onto this. So let's place it on and screw it down. So we're just mounting the other side now. Okay, so we're just about done. All we have to do is grab the tabletop and mount it on top of this. Screw it down, connect it, power it on, and we are good to go. So before we do that, I want to make sure again it doesn't hurt to triple check and quadruple check. Make sure your R is with your R on the leg and the L is with the L on the other leg. Also, before we continue on, let's make sure the connectors on the actual control box are connected, because if for whatever reason it's slightly popping out, you'll have issues and that might get a little bit irritating. So it doesn't hurt to double check this, because it's a little bit easier than going underneath the table. With that said, let's just bring the tabletop over and start mounting it. Okay, so we're laying on the ground, and what you want to do next is you want to make sure, before screwing down anything, you want to make sure all the screw holes matches correctly. Let's just align one part, screw that part in with either 1 or 2 screws, and align the other part diagonal from it and mount the screws on there, and that makes it a little bit easier to mount the rest. You don't tighten it down, you just want to screw it enough where there's still a little bit of wiggle room, because you might have to move the whole table since we're just trying to mount this in first. So we got that down. Now let's go to the other side diagonal from it and mount the 2 screws. Okay, so we're just about done. We just mounted 2 over there. We just need this one and the other side. So let's just finish this up, connect everything, power it on, and give it a go. Okay, so we mounted all these screws into the proper holes. Now we're just going to tighten down everything. Be very careful to not over tighten. You will hear the actual wood kind of crack. So be very careful, have it snug, but do not over tighten it. All right, so I'm going to just screw this down. I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I already took the liberty and mounted the actual control onto the desk. If you haven't done that, just use a Phillips screwdriver, and then there's pre-cut holes already on there, and then just grab the screw it in, and then you are about done. Be very careful with this unit, especially since it's plastic, everything right here. You do not want to over tighten. Just have it snug, but do not over tighten it, or else you will bend the plastic part. Okay, so everything has been assembled accordingly on this desk, and the moment of truth, let's lift this up and see how high this actually goes, which honestly gets pretty high. Press the button once and it will just automatically go up. If you want to stop it, just press any button to stop it. So let's have it go up. So I am roughly 5'5", and I want to show you, that's why I'm actually standing right here. I want to show you how tall this actually can get. It's already going to my elbows comfortably. Now it's lifting up a lot more. Love this thing. Check it out. Boom! So this is how tall it can get, which is very awesome. Hence the name, a stand-up desk. But that's it. This is the installation of Apex 60-inch stand-up desk. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them in the comment box below. If for whatever reason you're having issues with your stand-up desk, let's just say it only goes halfway up or it doesn't extend as much as it did with me, I recommend getting a measuring tape and measure it, because on ApexDesk website, it states on how tall it actually can lift without the stand itself. So I recommend measuring it to make sure it's fully extended And if it's not, click here and it will take you to a video of how to troubleshoot that. And in that video, I show you how to properly recalibrate it so you could get the full height and minimum height as well. Again, my name is Jefferson. This is the Apex 60-inch Vortex stand-up desk. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It definitely helps out my channel. Like always, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Okay, so if for whatever reason your stand doesn't go all the way up, let's say if it just goes halfway up, what you want to do is you want to first